Imagine spending an autumn weekend cocooned and warm, sipping tea and immersed in the book Lessons Learned and Cherished by the extraordinary Deborah Roberts. It is a heartfelt, eye-opening journey in which celebrities and other notable individuals reflect on the teachers who changed their lives. I'm honored to introduce the award-winning national affairs correspondent for ABC News, Deborah Roberts. Welcome.
Oh, nice to see you. And I'm sipping my tea too as we even talk about
Right?
this.
This is the perfect time to enjoy a book and get cozy. So, Deborah, tell us, why did you feel that now was the perfect time to share this collection of stories, essentially kind of a love letter to teachers?
Well, I thought that, when anytime I would talk about my teacher, Mrs. Dorothy Hardy, and my memories of her, I would get people nodding and quickly sharing their own story. And I thought this is really something. It really touches something for people, that nostalgia and that trip down memory lane of a teacher who may have just seen you in a different light. And in my case, Mrs. Hardy, an English teacher who was very tough and exacting and prim and proper and had very, very high standards and a high bar for her class. I just really found something intriguing about her, and I wanted to rise to the occasion. And she, I would say, sparked something in me. Now, flash forward all these years later, where we are having a crisis in education right now. 58,000 teachers left the profession in the U.S. this past year. Morale is at an all-time low. Three-quarters of people who were surveyed said they didn't see teaching as a profession to really want to pursue. I thought maybe this is a time to think about teaching, teachers, those people who've meant something to us, and to sort of put it all out there as kind of a love letter to them and what they do, and to remind them that they matter and that we cherish them and we appreciate them.
Yeah.
And also maybe just to inspire not only teachers, but hopefully future teachers.
Yeah, and we all have a story where we can relate to a teacher that went that extra mile for us and made an impact. And you have so many incredible people share their own stories, including Spike Lee, Jenna Bush Hager, Oprah Winfrey. What drew them to take part in this
Yeah.
project?
Well, I would like to think it was me, but I think it was the subject matter. I think if I took advantage, I mean, I'm a journalist, right? So it didn't take much for me to just walk up to anybody or talk to anybody that I even, just knew or thought I knew a little bit. I met Lucy Liu at a conference, and I thought, let me give Lucy a DM. And she said, "Oh my gosh," she started talking about her teacher, Brooke Shields. I've known a little bit, and I've interviewed her. She said, "Oh my gosh, I'd love to talk about my college professor." So more than anything else, I was buoyed by the idea that this was a subject that people were just excited to talk about. And that doesn't always happen to me as a journalist.
Yeah.
Many times people want to run away from something I want to talk about. So I was so excited to see that people just would say yes. If I bumped into anybody,
Mhm.
Danielle Ballou, the renowned French chef, oh my gosh, I would love to talk about my childhood in Lyon, France. Anybody I mentioned this to wanted to do it. So I just decided to just start calling from anybody I knew and get stories. And each one just inspired me more than the next.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for teachers. My dad is a retired teacher, and he would always mention how
Oh,
whenever a student would come up to him 10, 15 years later just to
mhm.
thank him, it made such
Yeah.
an impact. So I'm intrigued to know, what were some new lessons or perspectives you gained during this process in creating this?
Well, I love that your dad gets those kinds of messages from students. And I have heard from people who have said that they've gone back to a teacher, or some of the folks that I interview. Christy Turlington Burns said, "I'm going to reach back out to my teacher." More than anything else, I think what captured my attention was that most of these folks did not have stories to talk about an academic lesson that they learned. It wasn't about the math test that they scored an A on, or some essay that they did so well on. Most of them wanted to talk about a way that a teacher made them feel. Genia Clark, who was the CEO of the Girl Scouts, who's now president of Fisk University, said to me, her teacher said, "You are smart." Those few words just meant something to her. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people talked about teachers seeing them in ways that they hadn't seen themselves, or just giving them sort of inspiration in ways they hadn't heard before. And that was what I thought captured my attention, that it was really more about a feeling.
Yeah.
And Maya Angelou always said, it's not about what somebody says, it's how they made you feel. And that's what many people remember, those feelings that they got in the classroom, or with that teacher or that librarian or that principal. All these educators left a lifelong impact on them.
Yeah, and especially just a teacher just kind of being able to see you, notice you, recognize you, and wanting to help you wherever that journey takes you. And here at ABC 10,
Mhm.
we love to recognize educators through our Teacher of the Month initiative, where we shine a light on those who truly go above and beyond for their students. What actionable steps can we take right now to improve the lives and success of teachers? Because you had mentioned earlier on, there's kind of a struggle there. There's not a drive to take on teaching right now. So what would you encourage we can all do to help encourage that?
Well, I think there are a couple of things we can do. I think you can, first of all, pay attention. You can be engaged. You can look in your community and your district and see what's happening with education and what's happening with educators. Is there a way for you to either vote or get involved or volunteer or just do something that it will help the situation for teachers? But then also, three-quarters of teachers either work a second job, have worked a second job, they dig into their own pockets to help their classrooms. Why don't you help teachers that way? There's a great organization called Donors Choose, and about 80% of public schools are somehow involved with this organization where you can go in, you can go online, and you can actually identify a teacher and a resource that they need, whether it's an iPad or some whiteboard. You can actually buy that for the teacher and for that classroom. So you can make life a little bit better for them by just investing in them and in their classrooms. I mean, I think that's a beautiful way
Yeah.
to help out, at least financially.
Yeah.
But more than anything else, I think we have to use our voices, use our influence, and just make it known that we care about education, we care about teachers,
Hmm.
we want to give them a certain amount of autonomy to do their job. We have to just make this a priority. And part of that begins, I think, with a conversation.
Yeah. Well, and you're starting that conversation through your book, Deborah Roberts. Thank you so much for joining us
Sure hope
today.
so. Such a pleasure.
Alrighty, you can get Deborah Roberts' Lessons Learned and Cherished, The Teacher Who Changed My Life, wherever books are sold.